Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, I was told I had to wear a bra, so I did. Same punishment for being 5 minutes late as being 3 hours late? Sure, no problem. Ran out of gas. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I was told I had to wear a bra, so I did. This happened last week. I was swimming laps at an indoor pool near my house. I'm a woman who has had a double mastectomy without reconstruction. My chest is flat. I'm totally comfortable with how I look, but prefer for my scars to be covered in public. As far as swimming goes, women's suits have extra material to accommodate typical chests, so when I wear them they're baggy. For backyard swimming I just use a couple safety pins to keep it in place. For lap swimming it balloons open like a parachute full of water and creates so much drag that it's difficult to swim. Tight competition swimsuits don't have enough coverage for the way the scars wrap around my sides under my arms. To get around this I'd wear running shorts and a tight-fitting full-coverage synthetic fabric dark-colored tank top. It works great. Last week I was approached as I left the pool facility by a worker. He said that they had received a complaint that a woman in the pool was wearing a shirt, which is allowed, but no sports bra underneath. He then said their policy requires women who are not in swimsuits to have sports bras under their shirt. He told me that the policy started when they had a problem where a woman would come in to swim and only wear a thin white shirt and no bra in the pool during family swim hours. I explained politely that I've had a double mastectomy and do not need a bra. I said that swimsuits don't fit me and my top is very dark and not see-through, plus even if it was see-through all anyone would see are scars. He said he understood and felt bad, but the management requires that the dress code be followed. I explained how I was much more covered up than anyone else in the pool and in fact was wearing exactly what he was minus the whistle. He was in shorts and a tank top. There were guys in there with just tight-fitting swim bottoms on and women in bikinis. I look Amish next to them. He again said he was sorry but couldn't make an exception to the rules. I asked for the rules in writing and he gave me a printout which did say what he was telling me. This brings us to yesterday. I dug a sports bra out of a bin of old clothes and brought it with me. I wore the same shorts and top otherwise. When I got in the water I put the band of the bra around my head with the straps sticking up like bunny ears. People in the other lanes got a kick out of it once I explained what I was doing. I started warming up with my kickboard thinking the guy would come over and we would sort this nonsense out. Well, a lady in business clothes comes over and tells me I need to take the bra off my head. I would like to say here that this was adult lap swim, there were no kids in the pool area. I explained it all to her and said I was following the rule to the letter. I was wearing a bra, which is all that is required. We went back and forth with her saying I knew it had to be worn normally. I said I couldn't wear it the way others do because I don't have anything to fill it and it would ride up to my chin while swimming without anything to hold it in place. She said I could use skin-safe glue. Yeah, no. I'm not going to glue unnecessary garments to my body and I told her as much. I finally said that unless she could state the rule I was breaking, that I would like to continue with my workout so I could get home to my kids and let the babysitter go home. She walked away. I swam for an hour with that bra perched on my head, lots of readjusting it and once retrieving it from the bottom of the pool, then showered and went home. This morning I checked my email, which is linked to my membership at the aquatic center, to find a message from her. They will not be changing their policies, but I have been granted a special exception to the rule provided I continue to wear non-see-through tops. I wish they would have just gotten rid of the silly bra rule, but I'll take this, and if I ever see another woman struggling with their swimsuit over a flat chest I'll let them know they can wear something more comfortable. I feel bad for the first guy. He didn't sound like management and was just doing his job. Those kinds of jobs don't allow non-management to make that call. It sounds like he handled it as best he could. I love the way you handled it though. Thanks for the compliment. He was very nice about explaining the rule, and I have no bad feelings towards him for just doing his job. The manager, on the other hand. You don't wear this because it won't fit on you? Clearly, gluing it to your skin is the reasonable solution to this predicament. Why glue when you go into a pool right after? Wouldn't using a water-resistant glue make it extremely hard to remove afterwards and painful on the scars? That is just asking for more trouble. Normal people would have thought of this by themselves, but OP is clearly not from this world and it must be explained to her. /S. This is very reminiscent of my mother. She was an RN and her nursing home dress code was RCHIC. They still could only wear white head to toe, white stocking, white nursing cap, and this was the 90s, so it was dated even then. She hated the nursing caps, so she found the smallest flimsiest cap and folded up as small as she could, and every day pinned it to the back of her hair so you could barely see it. It looked ridiculous, but I respected it. Thank you for reminding me of her. And for standing up for yourself. Red Heart. Your mom sounds like a real character. Good on you for standing up for yourself. In case you ever want to trade your shorts and tank for a swimsuit top, Land's End has mastectomy swimwear. It should hold up to chlorine a bit better. TomboyX is another company that might not make mastectomy-specific suits, but they cater to quite a few people who maybe want to cover up and don't fit specific body types. I also would like to know what kind of gormless twit chose to make such a complaint in the first place. That woman with the completely flat chest is not wearing a bra under the shirt she is wearing that would cover her breasts if she had any. I find this upsetting. Wah! Really? If the person who complained is also swimming, I'd be concerned about the safety of others in the pool, since obviously gormless complainer is flailing around with a giant stick protruding from a sensitive portion of their anatomy. Same punishment for being 5 minutes late as being 3 hours late? Sure, no problem. So I'm working for a low-level corporation, about 450 employees. I've been there for 5 years and have risen to the top of my department's productivity levels. I mention this as it does pertain to the story. Management had a policy that latecomers would be penalized, but that lateness could be excused under some circumstances. I was good at my job, and I actually loved doing it, so I was more or less a dream employee. I always showed up to work 20 to 30 minutes early because I liked to sit in the lunchroom and prepare for my day. Management knew I was almost always early, so if I was late from time to time, and such instances were rare, they'd let it slide, as there was always a valid reason. Now for some other employees this latitude wasn't applied. Chronically late employees would get written up and not have their constant lateness excused. They'd complain, of course, but management was firm. They ran an actual meritocracy, where more productive employees would experience preferential treatment. Then the business gets sold and we get new management. An international corp only interested in buying us up, stripping us down and selling off the company. Of course, they denied this constantly, but the fact that over the next 2 years they stripped us down and sold off the company proved they were lying. New management comes in and has to make a bunch of idiotic changes. One of those changes is that no reasons for being late are accepted, regardless of validity. Anyone 5+ minutes late for work would be written up. So at the team meeting where this is explained, I asked, so if someone is 5 minutes late and someone else is 3 hours late, the punishment is the same? And they said yes. From that day on, I stopped coming in early. I'd still head to work at my usual time, but I sat in a local coffee shop instead of my work's lunchroom. This meant that my work missed out because in the past I would often help out by answering questions, even start work early if needed. Because I loved my job, and the old management were wonderful bosses. No more of that under new management. In fact, if something happened, like unexpectedly bad traffic, and I was going to end up being a few minutes late, I'd just say F***ck it. If being 3 hours late is the same punishment as 5 minutes late, I'd just decide to come in later. I'd call work to tell them I was delayed, then go out and have a leisurely meal in a restaurant, or run some personal errands, go shopping, even see a movie, etc. Depending on my mood, and how shitty the new management had been lately, what would have been, say, a 7-minute lateness on my part would end up seeing me roll in 3 hours late. Sure, it cost me a few bucks, but I made almost as much in bonuses than I did in hourly salary, so missing out on a few hours here and there didn't bother me too much. I'd come in 3 or 4 hours late and my new bosses would be fuming. Nothing they could do though but write me up for the basic tardy, same as they would have if I was 5 minutes late. My buddy worked for customer service at a big ISP by us. If you were late, you would get written up, too many in a time frame would be penalties, less days, fired, etc. However, for reasons unknown, and no penalty if you call out same day. So we would randomly get a call from him to hang out because if he got stuck in any traffic and risked being a minute late, he would call out and hang out. One less person all day versus a few minutes. The joys of manglement. I had a job where you could get 12 points in a year's time before you got fired. Calling off without 24 hours notice was 1 point. Family emergency? That's 1 point. No call no show was 1 point. So rather than a quick heads up that you won't be in the night before people just didn't show up, because what's the point of calling off? I had a job if you were 5 minutes late or 59 minutes late, it was the same thing. Anytime I knew I would go over, I would take my time and go somewhere. Come in at 59 minutes late. But being so late they would have to shift and make arrangements to cover my job. It could not go unattended for so long. The supervisor asked why I was so late. Told them traffic. They were like, for 1 hour? Nope, I could have been here 50 minutes ago, but it's the same as 59 minutes, and there is this one store I always wanted to check out, so I stopped by there first. Boy, they were not happy but couldn't do anything about it. Ran out of gas. I've been waiting for the perfect storm of circumstances for this to happen so I could share my story. About 2 months ago, a rule was implemented that only 2 days out of the week could we fill the company vehicle with gas, Wednesday and Saturday. I learned quickly that this would mean I need to fill up my vehicle every gas fill-up day without fail. Last Saturday, I didn't drive said vehicle. Today, Tuesday, I noticed I didn't have enough gas to finish the day. Oh well. The rule is the rule. Ran out of gas and the company had to pay me to sit there and wait. Lost productivity. The supervisor sent out a person with a gas credit card and nothing else. The vehicle they were in only had 1 seat and 1 seatbelt. Can't safely get in with them to do anything. So I start walking to the nearest gas station. Then the supervisor realized the error of his ways and sent the same employee out again, this time with a vehicle with 2 seats. They brought me back to the office where I got a different vehicle to finish the day. I had a salesman at a job I worked at do that. He was not even a manager, but when the boss was away, he was in charge. At this job, I was the warehouse manager, in charge of scheduling deliveries, pickups, and making sure inventory was up to snuff. Occasionally, I would even do deliveries if we were down a person. One time I am in the truck and noticed it had all of a 1/4 tank of diesel. I go inside and ask for the card, and this salesman denied me when I told him the truck still had that much fuel in it. So off we go, make the delivery, and on the way back, the truck just dies, completely out of fuel. Because we ran it dry, the boss had to get the truck towed to the repair shop and the fuel system completely bled to get the air out. This was a 24-foot box truck, so fairly pricey to tow and work on. The reaming the salesman got was classic. He never denied anybody the fuel card again. What an asinine rule. I knew a guy that was a field engineer. His employer paid him lots of money and provided a nice company car for him to travel to customers. His boss told him he couldn't expense fuel on the weekends, so he started each Monday morning spending at least 30 minutes fueling his car, even if some customer was freaking out about critical systems being down all weekend. He got a new boss before they changed that rule. I used to get sent away in a van at the start of the week to drive hundreds of km away from work, only to return on Fridays. One week they decided to ban fueling up on the company card on Fridays so people wouldn't fill up on the weekends. However, they didn't tell us, so I filled up only to find out I could not pay as the card had a lock on it. They had to reimburse me when I returned. This has to be the post office. It reeks of stupid policies and brain-dead management. I have family in the post office. They have some of the most inefficient and money-wasting rules and regs. It often amazes me that they operate at all. Not work-related, but my 17-year-old son borrows my car when I'm not using it. I always tell him to put gas in it. I was working from home off and on during the summer and he was driving it more than me. Yesterday afternoon when I parked it, it was pretty low. He wanted to borrow it. I warned him. He didn't. I had to put gas in it today to make it home from work. Game of gas chicken lost today. We'll see how the rest of the week plays out. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.